They say money makes you powerful, but what happens when power becomes your cage? Somewhere in Abuja, a billionaire woman vanished. No kidnappers, no ransom, no trace. Only whispers. Whispers that she was seen selling akara by the roadside, that her golden wrists now carried oil stains, that the woman who once owned mansions in Maitama was now sleeping on a mat in Nyanya. People said she had gone mad, but no, she was on a mission to find something her billions could not buy, a wife for her son, a love untouched by wealth. And so began the story the streets still tell, the billionaire who wore dust, because sometimes, to find truth, you must hide behind a lie. The story begins in the glowing heart of Abuja, where the streets shine with ambition and the air hums with quiet power. Men in sleek suits hurry into offices where fortunes are made, and women in fine lace glide out of tinted cars, their perfumes mixing with the smell of new money. But that morning, something strange happened. A woman, barefoot, wrapped in a faded Adir wrapper, carrying a nylon bag that looked older than the road itself, stood in the middle of Wuse Market, her hair tied in a scarf, her face bare of makeup, her eyes calm but watchful. No one knew her name. No one could guess her truth. For this woman, hidden among the crowd, was Chief Mrs. Adeola Adebisi, one of Abuja's wealthiest women. A real estate tycoon, a business mogul whose companies owned half the luxury apartments in Maitama and Asokoro. But today she was not a billionaire. Today she was just another woman trying to buy 200 naira tomatoes under the harsh Abuja sun. Why? Because her only son, Olatunde Adebisi, the heir to her vast empire, had refused to marry any woman she brought home. "Mummy," he said one evening, sipping palm wine in their glass mansion, "I don't want a wife who loves your wealth. I want a woman who loves me, even if I have nothing." Adeola had laughed bitterly at first. "Ah, you think love feeds people? My son, love without money is pepper soup without meat. It burns, but it doesn't satisfy." But later that night, as she sat alone on her balcony watching the city lights flicker like restless fireflies, something shifted in her heart. Maybe the boy was right. And so, the woman who had built towers from concrete decided to build a test from humility. She would pretend to be poor, live among the common people, and search for a heart that saw beyond gold. A week later, Chief Adeola Adebisi vanished from the headlines. Her staff thought she'd traveled. Her neighbors thought she was abroad. But in truth, she had moved into a small room behind Mama Ngozi's canteen in the busy heart of Nyanya. The streets buzzed with life. Children running barefoot, bikes zooming past, gospel music fighting with Afro beats from every corner. The scent of fried yam, engine oil, and roasted corn filled the air. There she became Mama Debo, a humble widow selling akara in front of the canteen. "Madam, you sure say you sabi fry this akara?" Mama Ngozi teased one morning. Adeola smiled, flipping the balls expertly in the oil. Ah, hunger is the best teacher. Once he flog you, you go learn fast." Every day she studied people, how they spoke, how they suffered, how they smiled through it all. But one face always caught her attention. Anike, the young tailor whose shop sat opposite the canteen. Anike was no ordinary girl. She was beautiful, but it was her kindness that made her glow. When a beggar knocked on her door, she didn't chase him away. When Mama Ngozi's daughter fell sick, she sewed uniforms for free. One afternoon, When a bus conductor shouted insults at an old woman who couldn't pay her fare, Anike stepped forward, pulled 500 naira from her purse and said quietly, "Let peace go first. Ego can walk behind." Adeola, watching from the canteen, felt something stir in her chest. This was the kind of spirit money could never buy. That night, under the hum of a faulty ceiling fan, she made a decision. She would bring her son into this world, not as a billionaire's heir, but as a mechanic's son. And if this girl could still love him, then she would have proven herself worthy of gold. Olatunde didn't like the plan. He was tall, educated in London, with a quiet confidence that came from privilege. "Mother," he said, frowning, "you want me to live like a common man?" "Yes," Adeola replied firmly. "Even diamonds are found in the dust." And so, the next week, Olatunde became Debo, a humble mechanic working in a friend's garage near Area 1. He wore oil-stained overalls, rode Okada, and Atsuya by the roadside. When he met Anike for the first time, he was nervous. She was sitting in front of her shop, stitching a torn uniform. "Good afternoon," he greeted shyly. She looked up, smiled, and said, "Ah, you must be Mama Debo's son. She told me you're a mechanic." "Yes, I work for my friend," he replied. From that day, they became friends. He'd bring her snacks during her lunch breaks. She'd fix the torn pocket on his shirt. They'd sit under the mango tree near her shop and talk about life, about dreams, faith, and survival. One day, Debo asked, "If you had all the money in the world, what's the first thing you'd do?" Anike laughed softly. "I'd still sew. I don't do it for money. I do it so people can stand proud when they wear my work." Her words hit him like truth spoken by an ancestor. And that was when Debo realized this was no ordinary woman. Love grew quietly between them. But every good story must meet its test. Rumors began to spread in the neighborhood. "Have you not noticed?" Mama Ngozi whispered to another trader. "That mechanic boy dey too gentle. Him no look like person way dey suffer." And one day, Anike's friend, Tabitha, confronted her. "My sister, shine your eyes, Zo. These Abuja men can deceive. You fit wake one morning and realize, say, your mechanic don marry rich woman for Metama." Anike laughed it off, but that night, her heart felt heavy. Who really was Debo? When she asked him the next day, he sighed. "Anike, there are things I can't say yet. But what I feel for you, it's real." She believed him. But trouble was coming. A week later, a black convoy of SUVs pulled up near the market. Men in suits stepped out, scanning the area like security agents. And from one of the cars stepped Chief, Mrs. Adeola Adebisi, dressed in royal blue lace, gold gel shining under the sun. The entire market froze. People whispered, "Is that not the woman from TV, the real estate billionaire?" Anike's heart dropped. "Mama Debo?" she whispered, trembling. But the woman who used to fry akara was now surrounded by bodyguards, her voice calm and regal. "Yes, my child. My name is Chief Adeola Adebisi. And this," she said, pointing to Debo, "is my son, Olatunde." The truth hit Anike like thunder. Her knees grew weak. Her breath caught in her throat. "You both lied to me?" she asked softly. Olatunde stepped forward. "Anike, please." "No," she said, shaking her head. "You wanted to test me like I'm some exam. You both played with my heart." Her voice broke. "You think poor people don't have pride? You think our love must always be proven, like we're suspects?" Tears filled her eyes. She turned and ran. The crowd whispered. Some clapped. Some pitied her. For days, Anike didn't open her shop. She sat in her small room, replaying every moment in her head. The laughter, the secrets, the betrayal. But love is stubborn. It doesn't die easily. One evening she heard a knock. When she opened the door, she saw Adeola, not in lace or jewelry, but in a simple wrapper, barefoot, holding a small bowl of rice and stew. "My daughter," she said quietly, "I came to beg." Anike froze. "Forgive me," Adeola continued. "I have built houses for the rich but failed to understand the poor. I tested you because I didn't trust the world anymore. But you taught me that love doesn't hide in wealth. It lives in truth." Anike's eyes filled with tears. She took the woman's hand. "Mama, I was hurt. But I understand. Love without honesty is just decoration." At that moment, Olatunde appeared behind her, holding a small box. He knelt. "Anike, I can't promise you a simple life, but I can promise you a true one. Will you be my wife?" The market women who had gathered outside began to clap. Someone shouted, "Say yes, Taylor." She smiled through tears. "Yes, mechanic." And laughter filled the evening air like a song of healing. 3 months later, Abuya witnessed a wedding that people still talk about. Not because of the wealth displayed, but because of the message it carried. Chief Adeola refused to host it in a hotel or hall. She chose Wuse Market, the same place where she'd worn dust and found truth. The market was decorated with flowers, palm leaves, and laughter. Mechanics, tailors, traders, everyone came. Even Mama Ngozi cooked jollof for free. As drums beat and dancers swayed, Adeola looked at her son and his bride and said aloud for all to hear, "Money can buy respect, but not love. Houses can be built from gold, but homes are built from hearts. Never forget where you found peace, for pride is the fastest way to lose it." And the people shouted, "Wisdom!" As night fell, fireworks lit up the Abuja sky. Love, laughter, and the scent of jollof rose together. Proof that sometimes the richest hearts live in the humblest places. They say, the river that forgets its source will dry up before sunset. But also remember, even a queen must kneel to drink water. So, my child, when you see someone in dust, look closer. For dust is not always a sign of poverty. Sometimes it's the disguise of destiny. And that is how Abuja learned that love, like gold, shines brightest when tested by fire.